Hello everyone. So today what I'm going to try to do here is write up an attempt to modify a set of 4-piston Brembo calipers from a Cadillac ATS onto my 6th gen base model Camaro. And I'm starting to see some of the kits come out online, but they're still running like 450, 500 bucks. I feel like I could do it a little bit cheaper if I piece it together myself. So what I'm going to try to do is show you what all I got here and how we're going to get this to bolt onto the car. So first and foremost, what we got here, these are 4-piston Brembos off of a Cadillac ATS. Now, I did do a check beforehand. They are a different part number than the Camaro 4-piston Brembos. I think the reason that they're different is they're a little bit shallower. They don't extend as far because when I tried to do this before, I bought the 13.6-inch rotors. These are the 12.6-inch stock rotors that just came off my base model Camaro. With the 13.6 ones, they will not bolt on. So this is our second attempt at trying to make this work. I got a couple other things here. We got 4 of the brake caliper bolts that I bought off of Rock Auto for the SS Camaro. I'm going to have to see if I can find the part number for that. These extend just a couple millimeters too long, and they contact the back of the rotor whenever they're bolted up. And whenever I get to that part, I'll show you why they're a little bit too long. So what I got here, I have some 12 millimeter washers where I'm just going to stack up 2 of them behind these bolts, and that should give me the spacing length that I need on these bolts so they don't touch the backs of these rotors. The stock bolts for the Camaro base model, they're probably about 3/4 threads short of going the whole way through the bolts on the backs of these calipers. So I want to go with the proper size bolt since it is kind of an integral part. Another thing that I got here, I don't think I'm going to need it, but I'm going to see how the stock brake lines work. I heard that these SS lines are a little bit longer, but I want to try to get by with using the stock LT brakes. So, well, let's see if we get her apart and see if we get these on. Now we have the wheel off. We're going to start disassembling the caliper assembly. The 2 back bolts here that hold the caliper onto the mounting bracket, these are 14 millimeter, and there is 1 bolt right here that holds on the rotor to the wheel bearing assembly. That is a I think it was a T30. Yeah, that's a T30 Torx, and this one was rusted in there pretty good. I broke one out of the back wheel, so these Torx sockets really help when breaking those loose. These are Loctited on from the factory. The same with the caliper mounting bracket. So what we're going to do here, get this guy out. I'm going to hang this up from the strut tower and see if I can get the caliper bracket off, and then we're going to start checking out parts. Now we have all the stock parts off. I got the old caliper bracket and pads off, and these pads are shot. I got about 60,000 miles on them. I'm getting a bad vibration whenever I hit the brakes, but it's our old stock rotor here. There's our wheel bearing. Don't be surprised if you got to beat the thing off. Mine had a little bit of a rust weld going on. The new Brembos, they're going to bolt right onto here, and I'm going to see if I could grab one of those, see how it mounts up with the new bolts and the spacers that I got. Now I grabbed a caliper real quick just to show you how this bolts up, and I know this is the wrong side and it's upside down, but it's just for reference purposes. But I want to show you how the stock bolts work with the new bolts. Now this is the SS bolt. You can see how this thing extends a few threads. This is enough to make contact with the back of the rotor and lock up the wheel. So what I'm going to do, just take a couple of our spacers here. I just got these 12 millimeter washers from the local hardware store. We're just going to stack a couple up behind the back of the bolt in order to give us the proper amount of spacing. On the bottom I put in the stock bolt, and you can see how we're missing about like 2-3 threads. Now you could probably get by with that. I don't see why it would be an issue, but I don't know. I think just having the proper depth with the bolt size is going to help me sleep a little better at night. Alright, so let's grab the proper caliper. I'm going to service this front hub assembly and see if we get some anti-seize on this. And we're going to bolt up our new rotors and hook up the brake line. So you ever go to the parts store and you think you found the part that you needed because you looked in the parts tray and there was a washer there that was already broken out of the pack, so you test fit it on your bolt. It's like, oh, this is the perfect fit. Well, that happened today, but it was not the right washer. 12 millimeter or just slightly undersized. If you find a 13 or the standard size equivalent, that's what you're going to have to use on these bolts. I was just able to use mine. I zipped them out, but I got the new caliper bolted up and on with the new rotors. These are the 12.6-inch rotors, and it fits great. I already put, this is a wheel spacer with a little hub-centric spacer I used to run a certain set of wheels on here. So what we're going to do next, we're going to see if we can get the brake line off of this and see if we get messy and see if we get some fluid flowing through these. And once that's done and these are bled, the mod for this side is done. All I got to do is wrap up the driver's side. So I've learned a little bit more while excavating the car. The brake line definitely will not fit into the stock Brembo. What I have here is the two bolts on the backs that thread into it from the main brake line. These are is this an 11 millimeter? Where is it? It's on there somewhere. Oh, yeah, it's up there at the top. This is an 11 millimeter for both of these two top bolts that go into the caliper. There is a 10 millimeter bolt right here for the mounting bracket that holds the brake cable to the strut assembly. And then the top here, they give you a little thing to grab onto. It's metric, and I don't have any metric wrenches, and I just broke it apart with crescent wrenches. This piece threads out from the hard line into the rubber line, and then you have one of these spring clips here. I just yanked it out with a pair of pliers, and that goes right into the groove right here. So another thing I noticed when holding these brake cables up next to each other, the SS line that I have is a little bit shorter. Reason I couldn't use the stock line is if you look here at the thread pitches, you can see that the threads for the stock brake line are much coarser than the thread size that goes into the Brembos. So stock lines do not work on Cadillac ATS Brembos. All right, so I'm going to see if I can get this new line into the car, get it bolted up, and that should be it for this side. I was a little worried about the line being slightly shorter, but it doesn't seem to be an issue. Nothing seems to be kinked. I got a good bit of extra line here. Got the bolt tightened up on the back here. I have, the only other thing I didn't really mention, you have these like little clips. You just pop these loose with a screwdriver, and then your wheel sensors can get attached to your new line. Didn't have to take the shroud out. All I did was just pull this cover piece back and pop the new line in with the spring clip, tighten this back up. I wish I had the metric sizes so I could relay to you guys what that is, but it wasn't really that bad. Crescent wrenches break it apart. All I need to do is just grab somebody to help bleed them. And this is done. It's pretty straightforward. This is a really easy mod. Just change out your brake lines, your rotors, and your calipers and pads. It's only just slightly more involved than a standard brake job. So, if you're looking for a cheap upgrade, I think these are a great thing that you can stick on your car. Help you stop a little bit better. I'm just looking to be able to looking forward to be able to hit the pedal and the car not shake apart. So, if you have any questions or comments, just let me know down in the comments section. I'll try to help you out as best I can. So, hope you enjoyed it. Have a good one. Thanks for watching.